I'm gonna have to switch it up though. I ain't gonna be able to talk about this shit. Oh, we live. Oh, hey, what's going on? Kindle the flames in the building. We are live. I would like anybody to tell me if my volume is good. Volume good, volume good. You want to go to another room and see if my volume is good? Oh, we sure we live. Mic check, mic check. So, supposedly, anybody that wants to join the live can go ahead and join. And that's what I welcome for y'all to join this live and get in on the conversation. We're going to be talking about, can you give your best to more than one person? Specifically, women to men. Can women give their best to more than one man? That's the topic. So, anybody got an opinion, want to jump in on the live? Join the live. Take a side. All right. Should have a couple guests. I'm expecting a couple guests to join the live at some point in time. We got a few things I want to do. I want to go ahead and okay, I got my guy Trey in here. I want to go ahead and shout out the sponsors. SmokeGrip.com. Everybody check out SmokeGrip.com. For the holidays, that bad boy is half off. Was the music sounding good in the background? We about to start that back. All right, so can you give your most to more than one person? I don't think you can. For a guy, I do think you can. For a girl, I think you can only give your best to one person. Who disagree? Hop in on the chat. Hop in on the live. Raise your hand. I'm gonna wonder how to bring you up. Can you give your best to more than one person? Can you give your best years to more than one person? I don't see how that's possible. Anybody disagree? Hop on in. Hop on in the live. Can you give your best to more than one person? Trey, hop on in if you can. I probably gotta help him to join. I don't know how to do that though. Yeah, he said he can't. He said he can't join. So how do I think I gotta help him to join in.
He after he click the link.
See if you can click the link.
Or tell him screenshot it with that one.
Oh, he said I gotta send the link. Share your link. Hold on, let's see.
Someone posted it.
Want you to know that you got it, baby.
Can you come on this side right here? Maybe you won't be on camera.
Text it to him. I just texted you.
Oh, okay. This one. I got a few topics though we can talk about. Do most women keep women single? If you disagree, pop on in. Especially side. Hey, singles keep singles, definitely single. Value good, give me a thumbs up.
Here we go. Sherman, here we go. We just added them. Sherman and Mariah on.
Now, how can I hear them?
They got unmute. Tell them unmute.
Go ahead and unmute.
Hello, how are you doing? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
All right, go ahead and say something, Sherman.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Mm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You can you hear me?
Hello?
I can't hear him. Hold on one second. We fixing the volume.
Okay.
I see you can say something.
Hello?
All right, say something for me.
Hello? Good evening. Can you hear us?
Very low. Let's see. Can't hear you just yet.
Okay.
Fixing the audio. Okay, there's a little bit of a lag. Oh, what's up, Trey? Yeah, we gotta fix it.
Put this a little more. You can see me, everything good?
Ain't no way I'm gonna be able to.
You can hear me and everything?
I can see you. We trying to fix the volume though.
All right.
I can hear you, but barely, and it's a lag.
What about now?
I mean, I don't know what else we can do to fix it.
Okay.
Let's turn on my Wi-Fi.
Oh, this it's on the different speaker. Okay. Trey, say something for me.
What's up? You can hear me?
There you go. Can you turn that yours off? Okay, we got it.
Is it good? Can you all hear us?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All
Okay,
right.
go right ahead.
That's the third person on here?
Hold on real quick. We had somebody drop in before you.
Oh, it is a third person on here. She don't have her screen on.
It's okay. I think I can hear you. I think you just muted yourself. Oh, there we go. We unmuted.
I wonder why they ain't come on camera.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I'm on camera.
Hey, what's
I'm
going
on
on?
camera. Okay.
I know
Before
that's
you start
right.
talking stuff. I'm just
I
kidding.
know
How
that's
you doing?
right.
Oh, we about to have a real conversation in here.
yeah. It
How's
looked like it's gonna
everyone?
be a spicy one.
Doing good. How about you?
Doing good. Doing good. I'm thankful for another day. So, yep.
That's what's up. It's the
Yeah.
holiday season. Y'all ready?
Just about. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
As ready
Yeah.
as it can be. As ready as I'm gonna be. So did y'all hear the topic for today?
Nah,
I
enlighten us.
Okay, the topic is I got several, but y'all want to start with this one?
Yes.
Can you give your best to more than one person?
I think I think only men have the ability to do that. Now, why do I say that? I say that because a woman is naturally pours into people. We see that all the time when they interact with children, whether it's theirs or not. Um, I know as far as when it comes to us men, the way that we show love, respect is through productivity and producing tangibles. Of course, all women love us to be affectionate. They love us to be good communicators. But the main things that give us value in relationships and in the world is productivity, our tangibles. So I think that if a man is doing what he needs to do and is holding down a household and nothing is changing, but he has something on the side that's meeting the needs and wants that she desires and whatnot, if nothing changes at home, his wife will never know nothing about it unless she goes out of her way to try and find and look for something, you know? But if the house, in the way that you interact and move, nothing changes, but you still adding value somewhere else, yeah, I think that's hard for a woman to do because like how she expresses herself and how she shows love, I don't think she has the ability to maintain multiple men at one time.
Okay, thank you for that take. What you say? How you pronounce it, Charmaine?
Sherman
Sherman.
and Mariah.
Sherman. Okay, then, okay. Then. That's how you want. That's what you want me to go by. What you want to go by?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay then.
I would say no.
Oh, hey, how you doing? I didn't even see you there. All right.
Ah,
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. And the reason why I say no, because when you define best or even look at the word best, that's in all arena. And if you're giving someone your best, you can't give two persons your best. Well, if you're playing a different role, it depends. But when you're talking about relationship and you're trying to basically say you're giving those two individual best, I say no because you're going to be some distrust there, some things you're not going to be able to be honest about, and a lot of other things in order to protect, one of the others, because you can't totally be honest with, them because they're going to get emotional, personal feelings and all those things involved. So just by the fact of you not being honest, you can't give your best. That's part of, your best. And honesty goes a long ways in reference to, giving your best. So that's why I say that's just one of the characteristics that you can't be when you're trying to give your best. So, and even communication, you can't totally communicate because, like, again, you got to kind of, hide things to try to keep everybody's happy, So it's almost impossible.
And how about is it the same sentiments if we're talking about not dating someone maybe at the same time, but maybe there was a woman that in her 21s to 21 to 25, she was dating somebody, and it was maybe somebody who she really liked and would get married to, and it didn't work out, and then here comes somebody else. Could that individual still give their best to the next guy?
If they have dealt with the situation, got over it, a lot of times people jump from one relationship to another and they bring luggage and don't necessarily kind of get that luggage taken care of before
Absolutely.
they move it on, and then they bring those same issues. So yeah, is it possible if she have the maturity and cleared out that luggage and she can move on honestly, and not have those some of the issues that she had with the past and bring it over into the future.
Okay. So what about when they, the when guys say, "Oh, who'd you give your best years to?" When they speaking of a woman, they usually talking about, I guess, their best years, their prime years, usually around, I guess, 24, 25. So they can never get at. with somebody else. They only get out to guess whoever they were dealing with. So when I say that, does that change
Right.
your sentiment at all?
No, because I don't put like your best on a time or a season,
Okay.
because yeah, youth, yeah, you're more, energetic. You should be, in your younger years than as you get older. But as you get older, it's not about, quantity, it's about quality. And so, yeah, you're more energetic and all that things because of life. You're dealing with kids and all that. And once you get older, you're kind of set in your ways and get a little bit more settled. But that don't mean you can't still, you know, have some of the best features still available.
Okay. All right. If anybody want to touch on this
Uh,
topic before,
I,
what you
I
say?
wanted to finish off on the topic we were on,
Okay.
uh, because I don't really agree with that at all. As far as like with
Can you come back on Kim? Trey? Oh, you broke out a little bit.
lying. I
He
did
back.
I blank out?
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You back.
So I agree 120% with our elder here when he said that a man can't give his best because to two different women because he's lying, and to give your best you can't have those blemishes. My rebuttal to that response is, in Islam they are allowed to have multiple wives. In Islam they're not allowed to be in the same house either. So the man has to be able to provide and protect both families, both women, independently. And I think that from the Islamic women I've met that's married and and their husband has more than one wife, they perfect, they happy, and he's giving his best to both women. But that goes right back to what you said. They both know about each other, so therefore he can give his best. You know, and I think that on a more level, just dating wise, I've dated women and I've been open and honest with them and told them like, yeah, I don't really, I'm dating other people and whatnot. And as long as I'm honest, they don't really mind.
Yeah, but then you got to realize from when you talk about, I was a Muslim, so I practiced that religious for a while, and most of that was based on, when you talk about, providing, yeah, from a financial standpoint, yeah, it's easily, if you got the wealth to kind of make sure that you support them. For us from a financial standpoint, but when I'm talking about from an emotional standpoint, from dealing with the jealousy, because I don't care, what people say, especially if
Right.
someone look better shape, or he's giving them more that emotional attention, not the financial aspect. Yeah, if he got the means, it's easy to give somebody, $500 over here and $500 over there, you know, or whatever from a physical standpoint, but when it comes to the mental aspect of it, that's where some of the major issues will, show up. Even though they agree with that in reference to those relationship, they still have a little, issues. And a lot of times they have to accept that because that guy is the provider, and that's more of their cultural thing, that they okay allowed to have multiple, wives. But at the same time, it's still some issues in reference to the emotional aspect of one woman feeling, as they get older and have babies. Even like if you go back even from the biblical standpoint, even when you know what you call it, couldn't have kids, and she gave her concubine to Jacob, and she's still like, well, dad, he's sleeping with her and having kids. It still was some jealousy, there. And so I don't care how the relationship is, or like you said, the women's that you was pretty open with, you couldn't totally be honest with them, especially when they asked those questions that they really didn't want to know the answer. Like if they asked you how's you with in bed with her, y- y-
Ah, right.
Right.
those serious. I'm
Do
talking
you
those
do
hard.
that with her too? Yeah, all
Right,
of that
That's
stuff.
right.
right.
That's
So
Yeah,
you got
that's
yeah,
right.
and
yeah.
then when
That's
you
true.
acknowledge that and when you saw that coming, you had to kind of water it down,
Right.
So
You right. You're
so
absolutely right. And looking back at the scriptures, if we're gonna go into a biblical point, because I believe in that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I don't mean to offend anybody else if they don't believe that, but in the scriptures, it say that when we lie with a woman, we become one.
right.
Um, and he wasn't just saying that for a woman; he was saying that with woman and man that we are one now. And
Mhm,
whenever you lie with a woman, spiritually she is your wife because
mhm,
your DNA and your likeness is printed upon her forever. I learned in science too. So I think it's safe to say that we can only give ourselves
mhm.
to one person, and that one person gets the best version. I agree. I agree. I think we can only be with one person and give the best version of ourselves to one person. Yeah.
Are you gonna have a monster? Somebody's gonna be a monster. One of those
Yeah.
women gonna act the fool.
Okay, so I think we in agreement on most of that point. Okay, changing it up a little bit. Are women really single by choice, or is the guy they really want not taking them seriously?
Definitely the guy they really want, not taking them serious. I don't think no woman in her right state of mind actually wants and strives to be alone and have a cold bed at night or to be single their whole life. I don't think no woman in her right state of mind thinks or yearns for that at all. I don't think no woman on the planet wants to be alone. That's in their right state of mind. And I think that based off of my personal experiences, a lot of times women will play the field too long and trick themselves out of a good man in a good situation because uh, if a woman is very attractive, young, she has her way. And I think a lot of times that gets addicted to women and they believe they have this false sense that this feeling or this ability to gain control and galvanize the room, they're going to have that ability forever. And they haven't been taught that these are your prime years where you're supposed to seek and find the strongest suitable person that loves you, treats you right, and can provide and to scale up. So the older he gets, the less work you'll do, the more he, etc. But in our culture, in our community, that's not taught to our women. So I don't think no woman in her right state of mind wants to be alone. I definitely think that they play the field too long, thinking that they'll have all of these options, and they spread themselves too thin, definitely. And another thing that they do is they know when a man really wants them, especially the younger ones. They'll know. Like I've had certain women just flat out tell me, "Yeah, I've had good men, but I wasn't ready to. I didn't feel like settling down." You know. So
What say you, Mariah?
So, say what was it about? Like, because I was so consumed, I was
Okay, it's
listening.
are women really single by choice, or is the guy they really want not taking them seriously?
I would say both. It just depends. I would say both. Um, there's a lot of desperate women out here, so they're not gonna be taken seriously. Um, and there's some women out here that are just bitter and they do not want a man. I honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I had a friend, and she basically was going through a lot in her marriage, and she was thinking about getting a divorce. And here I am. I'm like dating. This is the time I'm dating, and I'm like, I put myself back out there, And she's like, girl, just be single, make your money, forget these men. And I'm sitting here like, girl, your husband bought you the Mercedes Benz. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you got some
Right.
Exactly.
issues. But I'm sitting up here, I'm encouraging you to go to therapy, which they did go to therapy. I don't know what the status of their relationship is now,
Right.
but you have women that are just, they're just bitter. Like, they're really bitter, and especially in the body of Christ, like I've met some women that just, they're cool, and I'm like, well, is that what God wants for you?
Not
Like,
at
let's be
all. Not if
honest.
we gonna go by the scriptures.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like, do some work on yourself. Like, I worked on myself for like 3 years after a little over 3 years after my a breakup, and woo woo, thank you. And like the work is not done. The work is not done. And a lot of women don't hold themselves accountable. And the accountability is
Let her
more of a
cook.
beautiful trait than you looking cute.
Could you give us some more context? And I'm just about to probe because I think when you hit this point, when you go dive into this point, what I'm gonna ask you, it's gonna help a lot of women.
Yeah.
So this is my
Yeah, yeah.
question. You said that you were working on yourself for about 3 years. What did that look like? What things did you do that like
Oh my
make you
God.
say you was working
So
on
I was so
Mm.
used to coaching other women and helping other women in relationships. And then I found myself, I'm like, wow. I talked to one of my mentors, and basically she was like, well, it's your turn to do exactly what you were doing for those women for yourself. And when I say I got an opportunity to speak at a school and do a presentation on entrepreneurship, I did not want to do it because I felt so hurt. I was just like, I don't want to do this. And my mentors, they encouraged me. They was like, just say yes, even though you want to say no. And I'm like, all right, the email is sent. Like, it took everything out of me. But the moment that I went into that classroom, I realized that was the first step. And then my son was 8 months, and I did a fashion show, and I wasn't expecting my body to get snatched. I'm just being honest. Like, I had the love handles. I was like, look, it is what it is, God. Like, we gonna just work through this. But he blessed me to get snatched again. So I started doing things that helped me feel good. From drawing, painting, treating myself, pampering myself, even if it's waking up, drinking a cup of tea, just having silent moments, and removing like the riff and raff and negativity, and taking a break from those who bring drama in my life.
Okay, then that
It
was a lot. Yeah, I appreciate that because a lot of women say, "Oh, that I was working on myself," and I don't, we never get the context of that. So it sounded like you was, hitting the gym. You had you started teaching. You started going in, and you said you did a presentation
serving
stuff that was
and
building your
serving
serving.
too.
Okay, yeah, and doing the. I thought you said you had a therapist, things like that. So that's what's up. Yeah.
Therapist too. Yes, I had a therapist. I ended up getting a therapist, and it was like the best thing that I could do. Even though it was virtual, my first therapist he was from New York, and then my other therapist I got a little after a year. She's in Ohio. So that was another thing. Like, and it was difficult, but just sticking with that, it's like getting your hair and your nails done. Like, okay, I'm going to the therapist. I'll see y'all later. It's just something that's necessary.
Thanks for being transparent with that. Okay, then.
Yeah, for sure.
So Trey, you had something to say on that?
Yeah, I think she hit it right on the nail.
Okay.
And this doubles back into what Sherman said earlier. He said many of us break up and hop right back in a relationship. Total opposite of what his wife did there, Mariah. She was in a breakup, and what did she say she did? She started working on herself, and the biggest highlight to me was she said, I start doing things that I like. And
Yeah.
she said she was serving people too. She was serving. So whatever she was doing, that means she was doing something not just for the benefit of herself,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's pretty big too, because I think that the generation after me is very, very, very selfish. very selfish. Yeah, yeah, I think
Okay.
that was right on point.
Okay, I got another. Y'all want to switch up the topic?
Switch it up.
All right, here we go. Um, what about this concept, y'all?
The who?
If you take a guy's brain and you put it into a beautiful woman's body, that woman would be successful, probably feet up in the air, living the life, uh, you know, succeeding. Now, if you flip it and you put a woman's brain, just say you put a woman's brain in a guy's body, do you think that that guy will be successful?
I would have to say no. It, the reason why, just by nature, not just from a physical standpoint, but even from a, a, a thought process, we are more aggressive, and sometimes when women are aggressive, it's somewhat out of place, even though it's okay. Who was that? That guy said, he wanna uh uh what a freaking in no
Freaking a lady in a streets freaking the
right,
sheets.
right, right.
Uh-huh.
And that's basically from a standpoint of being, the aggressive thing. You don't want somebody, just lay there and don't do anything. Come on, you got to bring something, a little energy, you know. And so, with a woman being more passive, more sensitive, more nurturing, in our society, if a guy like that, he's more looked at as a little, weak. And so, like you said, a beautiful woman with aggressiveness, she can conquer the world. But if you got a handsome man with no passion or no he's kind of, you know, ain't
He's gonna
gonna
fall by the
go after
wayside.
nothing. It's a little weak, So I think
Hmm.
that would basically be the issue with that particular situation.
Yeah, and I think we would excel in that predicament because guys, pretty much we gotta understand women to get women. We doing the approaching, and we could kind of, if we put our brain into a beautiful woman's brain, we would kind of know how to play the strings and whatnot. The other way around, women, they have the guys come up to them majority of the time. Don't really gotta, especially a beautiful woman, don't gotta do too much. Don't you know a lot of times they're not working on themselves, building themselves up too much because they getting everything pretty much
Attention,
given to
right?
them. So,
Hmm.
Hmm.
anybody uh think differently on that one?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Do most women have realistic standards for men or unrealistic standards?
Nowadays, most of it is unrealistic. We see it all the time. That was easy. But we all know the only reason why most of it is unrealistic expectations is because, one, at least in our community, 70% of our women don't have a man in the household to even see how he interacts, how he loves, what he does, period. So they don't even have an example. And then two, everything else that they do gain examples from are, toxic. They're from media, social media, things like that. So a lot of their expectations are very unrealistic. Heck,
Yes.
I was with a woman before that thought arguing and hollering like love and hip hop was some real stuff. No, it's
Right.
fake.
And I agree with that because even a lot of times, even the way they would was brought up, their parents, how they have to deal, and they put unrealistic expectation on their daughters, and then they try to carry it over into the next generation, and the same thing that worked back in the 50s don't work now, and
Yes.
and on, like with that women, empowerment, and women, wearing the pants and all those things, it brought some issues because now like we talked about earlier, you got women, saying, I don't need a man. That's a lie.
The
That's just like a man,
audacity.
just like a man said, I don't need a woman. So what you gonna do? Because you got physical, needs. You got emotional needs that I don't want I don't want a man fulfilling my emotional needs of, definitely not my physical needs. So
Facts.
that's a problem right there, for you to lie. You lying to yourself to saying that you don't need the opposite sex. Because I find a woman to be beautiful in all, not just from a physical standpoint, just, you know, all around. And so with that being the case, sometimes because of the bad traits they got from, their upbringing, they bring those expectations. It's not realistic. And sometimes we just like, wow, I can't even believe she thought I was gonna do that. And even from a simple standpoint, you're you've been dating her for a month, and and they think they got it going on, like we was talking about attractive women, and they already want you to buy them some red bottom shoes. And you were like, come on, be real. Let's make a commitment to something before you already expecting me to spend a nice sum of money, on you for what? Just like, and on the other token, they come out and say, well, I don't kiss on the first date. But then at the same time, you expecting me to take you out to a very high end restaurant on first date? Put it in perspective. If you expect me to do something, expect me to get some in return because I'm going to feel some type of
Nepotism.
way. Yes. And so I was like, okay, don't put yourself in a situation. Then you won't basically be having a basically unexpectation respond from a man because you basically put the unreal thing in it, want to do things
Right.
like crazy things. There's a lot of them, from
Hmm.
that was one example restaurant, but expecting me to pay a bill. Now I don't even know your last name, so
What wasn't popular? The Cheesecake Factory. Was it a Cheesecake Factory? Remember that
Oh
that
yeah,
blow
the
up?
list that some woman or whomever had put out, a list of like restaurants you shouldn't go on your first date, or like it's
mm,
not acceptable. Yeah, Cheesecake Factory was on there. Yeah, that was
mm,
wow, because
Crazy.
Cheesecake Factory is pretty good. Um,
right, right.
Hey,
I
Chad,
may,
you
I'm
on
not
mute.
I'm
My
not
bad.
taking the majority of them to Cheesecake Factory on the first date. No, I'm not
Mm.
spending all that money because the majority
You
of
want
them
to be a
not
good
worth it,
steward over your
honestly.
money.
Um, what's that question again? Because he said a whole lot.
Okay, yeah, yeah. It's
The expectation being realistic.
yeah. Do women have realistic expectations for men or unrealistic?
Right. Yeah, definitely unrealistic. We already know that.
And so, Chaz, you can hear me? Uh, unmute for me real quick
Mm.
while we waiting on Chaz. This the next topic. If don't nobody else got anything on that one, okay. It's are parents failing their daughters by teaching them to be independent?
Absolutely. Um, but to double back on the expectation that we were speaking about, um, a lot of times, if you all paid attention, what they expect us to do for them, most of them don't even have the ability to do that same thing for themselves, which is crazy. And then secondly,
What you
the
mean when you say that?
bitterness, huh?
Uh, e- Expand on that.
Explain
What you
that.
mean?
Prime example. She may ask you to buy her a pair of red bottoms. She doesn't even have a pair in her closet.
Okay.
She may ask you to buy her a Chanel bag, but don't even own a Chanel earring or a bag, right? um, Crazy stuff. This bitterness that Mariah was speaking
Right.
on,
Hmm.
if we're going to be completely truthful about it, a lot of that bitterness has transformed into misandry. And misandry is just the hatred for men. Um, yeah, and our culture kind of drives that up too, in like hip hop and things like that. Because men in the hip hop culture say MOB, money over women. So yeah, yeah, it's expectations is
Okay, so
crazy.
somebody dropped in the chat. They said, "Do men have unrealistic expectations for women, though?"
I would say it depends on the man. It depends on, and also it depends on both. But yes, I would say sometimes they do. You know, and I always been taught. I'm a little older than you guys. I go back. I am also a man of God, and one thing, God have never commanded a woman to love a man. He told the
Mm,
man to love a woman as he loved the church. And he knew that would happen automatically if a man was playing his role. And
mm,
so I believe, a lot of time a relationship and things are based on how the man really, interact. We supposed to be the head, of the household on all front, not just from a physical, but all over, from a spiritual, mental, everything. We supposed to set the mood. And so
mhm.
in reference to that, when we have those expectations, we ain't doing our part. And another thing, a lot of women have a problem with being submissive. They wouldn't have a problem with being submissive if a man was doing his part. They feel that, security, they feel the love and all those things. That's where the problem comes. They're like, I can't submit to this Dean Bat. He can't even, take care of the minor things. How should I submit and he take care of all these really things? And so to those two questions that you asked in reference to, our expectation, and then a woman, her mom is teaching her to be independent. That stuff going hand in hand because that mom probably had an experience with a man that she didn't feel like was there for her to give her that security and all those things to help her to become, the best version she could be. So now she's instilling those bad qualities in her daughter. Say, oh, be independent because you don't. Basically, what she's saying is you really don't need a man. Get your
Yeah,
own.
And
You
I
know.
agree with you, but let me push back just a little bit, because and y'all know the culture I'm about to speak of.
Mhm.
You could find in some cultures, you could find the guy, the husband, sitting outside a Home Depot waiting for work. But when he get home, that wife, his wife, still submitting, still obeying.
Mhm.
So what about what about that? Hold on, let me get C's in here too. Let me unmute you. Okay.
Can
What's
you
up,
hear me?
dude? How you
What's
doing?
going on? How y'all doing, fellas?
All right, all
Doing
right.
good.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm listening to y'all teach, man. Y'all preaching, man.
Mhm.
Okay, okay.
Man,
So
I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
really like that term preaching because I'm not going to ask for no tithes at the end, but we definitely disseminating some information.
For sure, for sure, for sure.
I do want to push back a little bit. I'm gonna say just this, and I'm gonna let C's take it.
Mhm.
Sir, a lot of times I've been a good man and was taking care of my woman, uh, paying bills. I'm super affectionate, but a lot of times, man, they don't care. They still be
Mhm.
super disrespectful. They're
Mhm.
trying to emasculate you, man. Um, and a lot of times, sir, when we just off the bat come as a man, providing
Mhm.
with provision, protection, guidance, they'll look at us like we trying to be their daddy.
Mhm. Yeah.
But in
I can tell you why.
actuality, on
Oh,
the
sorry.
spiritual side, we
Mhm.
are because in the wedding, the father is handing his daughter off to the next man who's supposed to improve, teach, and enhance her life and protect her the same way her father did. So in our culture, we just got to do better as far as loving ourselves first and foremost, because we cannot love each other if we don't learn to love ourselves. And then once we start loving ourselves, then we'll start loving each other. But go ahead and take it.
Can I say something real quick? I can tell you
yes,
why that's
Yes,
happening.
ma'am. Go ahead.
The reason why that's happening is because somebody's in her ear trying to wreck what she has. They're jealous.
Absolutely.
Um, one thing, like I've been reading this book. I need to read it again, but basically it's for women who are struggling in their relationships. It's called A Fascinating Womanhood. And it talked about simple things like, the dad brings home the bacon and they have a daughter. I'm just gonna say her name is Sarah. And the mom like, oh Sarah, your daddy brought home the bacon. Now you can buy that. He can buy you that pretty dress. Hey Billy, he can buy you that bike you've been wanting. Like just showing that appreciation. It changes the trajectory for the kids as well. So it's different ways how you show appreciation. And I do find myself not only like doing the music of ministry, but I find that marriage is a covenant, it is a ministry. And I'm like, I'm not
Yes.
gonna sit back and hold back what I know in the gyms that I know. There's just need to be better practices at home, showing appreciation.
Absolutely.
Because there's like I'm into the femininity and there's some channels that's, oh, don't tell him thank you. Like just tell him thank you every fifth time you're supposed to say thank you. Like it's just certain rules. Like anyway, it's I'm gonna
That's crazy because
yeah, it's certain rules. Like, don't answer the
the
phone. Don't do this. Like, no, I'm
it's
running to
just
that phone. If
wild
I run
because
to
it's
that phone,
like,
answer
man,
the phone.
men
Hmm.
are so simple. But I've spoken enough. Let's let C's take the flow.
I mean, as far as what I'm hearing, I mean, to me, it sounds like we got like a generational culture clash. Like a lot of men, like around our age frame, wants to do things the old school way, but then you got a lot of the new social media stuff pumping in now, and now it's starting to feed into what the women want now, and you're getting that culture clash between men and women, and
Right.
so it's one of those things where you got to find a person for you, man, that just match you and just match your energy and match your vibe and understand where you're coming from. A lot of all these things come into aspect though. Everything that y'all mentioned does come into aspect when it comes to it. Um, Being respectful, man doing what they supposed to do so a woman can be submissive. All those things come into play. You gotta do your part on all the chords as a man, and then a woman should follow or shall follow once you are doing what you're supposed to do on your end. But it's a two-way street too at the same time.
So I'm gonna say this again. So how is that guy that's out sitting outside of Home Depot waiting for work able to come back home to his wife, and his wife is obeying, submitting, still doing the traditional things? What's the disconnect there, if there is one?
Respect. That's it.
I would say she believe in him. I believe she still believe he can be that man that she, have, that dream man in her vision. She got a vision that he can, right now he might be a little down and out, but that's not the end. She still see a future. And so that's why,
That makes
you
sense.
know, that dedication is still that loyalty. That's the thing about it. You know, you really find out, do somebody love you when you're not at your best?
Mm.
Because when you're at your best, being a man, you can provide her with whatever she want, and but sometimes we have little bumps in the road, and it might be in between jobs and things like that. And those are times that you really need somebody in your corner and supporting you, still seeing you as that successful man, because that helped motivate you to get there sooner, opposed to beating you down. And so maybe that's the disconnect, that she still see that that man that she know he's gonna be or become.
Man,
Yeah.
you blessing the stage with your wisdom tonight, man. I do appreciate you being on this live right here. Okay, so we done been on for about 50 minutes. This is gonna be the last question right here, and we're gonna wrap it up. Um, do all women deserve to be married? And in the
No.
same sense, do all men deserve sex? Now, I got
No.
a little wordplay right there. I'm saying the word deserve. If we throw the word earn in there, it would change up some things. But do all women deserve to be married? And in
No,
the same sense, do all men deserve
no,
sex?
no, no, and no.
No for both.
No for both. I'm gonna tell you why. The problem is, see, this is what's happening in our culture full of debauchery. And our culture in biology, period, the woman is the one of the major key productive facts of the growth of humanity or a certain group of peoples, right? In the animal kingdom and in humanity, but in humanity, we've forgotten this. In the animal kingdom, they don't play this shit. The women always seek out the best suitable option, and they only mate with the best suitable option. That's what they do. Because the woman is supposed to siphon out the unproductive men, the unproductive or the weak animals. They supposed to siphon them out, meaning that they do not mate with them so that the weakness can die off. That's why in certain times in humanity, they would say it's cruel to kill people that's handicapped or born with certain impediments. And a certain time in humanity, when they were really abiding by these laws, they were killing humans off that came out with abnormalities, mental or physical. It's the same thing that they do in the animal kingdom. But what we've done in our culture is we've allowed men that are unproductive and are not building, not producing anything to procreate. Women are opening up the highest reward that they can give a man, which is their womb, to just anybody that makes them feel good at this particular time. And because of this, we have three generations of unproductive boobs who have not shifted the culture, have not helped build anything, nothing at all. And this is because we have not taught our women and men, and you got to do this, you have to do that. You don't just let anybody, you don't give anybody access to this part of you. You get what I'm saying? Because as long as you make her feel good at this moment, you liable to create a child, right? And what the government gonna do? The government is going to incentivize this debauchery as well, because we gonna give you some money, we gonna make sure you get a stroller, all of this food, so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? To pacify the debauchery that's going on. See, this is part of the reason why our culture can't shift as quick and fast the way that we need to. On top of abortions, on top of that, right? So that's like 3/4 of our population that's not even here right now. But the major point of it is that the woman is the incubator of the nation, right? Now, I do not believe in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, but one of the things that I do like that he said is that if you want to look at the state of any nation of people, you look at the state of their women. And you can tell that we are in pure chaos because our woman is in straight chaos, right? You couldn't tell our grandmas 50 years ago that black women would be on the news walking into corner stores, leaving their children there willingly because they do not want to be mothers. This is madness. This is crazy. This is the cradle of civilization, a black woman. So if she out of order, humanity is doomed. We are in peril. And no, men should not be having sex with women and making children if they do not have the ability to take care of her or the life that they are in process of creating. Period, point blank. It's part of the reason why we messed up. And no, every woman does not deserve to be married because every woman is not virtuous.
Okay, thank you for that input, brother. Anybody else got something to say on that topic?
I have I agree with him in reference to what he said, and I agree with him that no, not every woman deserve to be married, and every man don't deserves sex, because because you deserve, or God made things available to you, but it's some consequences that come along with those, and those are some of the consequences he talked about, you know and so because they are not ready to deal with those, the reality of it, because that's what it is. If you lay down with someone, it's a possibility, you know, you can produce, a baby. And some guys are not, like I know a guy, and he got probably like 30 kids.
What? Here?
Yeah, yeah. And he's
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
and he think he a man. But the funny thing is, he ain't taking care of one of them. I look at him like he's about the stupidest mother sucker. I know. He's out here just sleeping with women, making babies. Like, man, guess how many I got now? I got this, and I was like,
And
dude,
guess what? The women still rewarding him
yes,
for his
right.
debauchery.
And but the thing is, the funny part is, all the women's, that most of them have very low self-esteem.
Of
And
course.
I look at him, and then they're not attracted either. And and this guy, he's a handsome guy, and so that's his target. That's his, he's looking for the most unattractive, lowest self-esteem woman, because a normal woman won't put up with it. But at the same time, you know he's taking advantage of them, and that's making him thinking he's a man, because he's making baby. That's like, dude, any fool that got a penis between his leg can make a baby. That's
Yeah.
not hard to do. The tough part is taking care of it. That's a real man, when you basically take care of that baby, you know, and basically provide for him. Not just from a you know uh, financial, but all the stuff that a kid need, whether a man or a woman, a girl or boy, to bring them into adulthood. And
Hmm.
so, with that being the case, like, no, every woman don't deserve to be, married, just
Absolutely.
because they're not really to do all the things that are required to, to live out, and it's tough. Marriage is tough, you know.
But is it
You know,
rewarding?
It's rewarding as well.
Okay. I will want to say this too, like my standpoint, like everything that's been said, I agree with. I just want to add this tidbit. For as I do not, I do agree with you all that all men and women shouldn't be married because of the example that are leading. Like it's false ministry. It's a lot of false marriages out here that's
yes,
making people think that this is the way that it should be. And it's like, no, it's totally out of order of how God would want it to be, from
right.
open relationships to doing certain things that's not healthy for the kids.
Ooh,
Like I see a lot of things, and I had to, certain people I want to hang out with, certain family I want to hang out with, just because of the things they're
ooh,
allowing in their households. I'm like, I don't want my son to see that. So
right.
even like just teaching him about his emotions and about his penis, like this ain't no Peter Pan, Pepper Piper hot dog. This is a penis. So you need to know that this is a penis, and you need to know. I'm not just gonna tell you that. Okay, well, don't let nobody touch or kiss. I'm going to actually touch your penis so you can see what it feels like, because a lot of times kids go in shock. So it's certain teachings
Yes, that's true.
and like the moms twerking and popping a butt, and something that even me and Sherman talked about that made me realize, like, and this just accountability, like, okay, I used to breastfeed I breastfed my son until he was 3, and
Great.
I'm like, I can't walk around certain outfits, and my son sitting at looking at me like, wow, I love my mom, but wow, she's beautiful. He having all these thoughts, like, I don't want him to be a womanizer, basically.
Right,
So, and even though the conversation was uncomfortable, but I sat with it, I prayed about it. I was like, you know what? That you're right. Like, if I'm using the bathroom, don't come busting in the door. Like, hold on, if I'm in the tub, don't come in here. You
right.
know? and just teaching him that your privacy matters. Don't let everybody in your bedroom. Like, you want to have good thoughts in your bedroom. So this is a lot of different teachings that are being accepted by society, but it's actually hurting our kids and making them turn into suicide and cutting and pills and alcohol, and it's a mess. So that's why I'm in the field I am in with the ministry of music, because I feel like music is very powerful. I sing and rap. So check out my music, share it. But I feel like when I'm listening to Sexy Red, my friend, she was like, "Why are you listening to that?" I'm like, "Cause it's the vice of the enemy. I need to know what's going on. I don't
Ooh,
like it, but I need to know
cause
what's
she
going on." So
definitely a
after
deep.
that, I'm about to write a song.
Mm.
Yeah, so
And that's so true because something else, like one of the questions the host asked us was so powerful. He said, "Are women single by choice?" Like, I don't think women really understand the power that they have. I mean, y'all say y'all do, but I don't really think y'all get a like. Okay, prime example. This girl, Sexy Red, is selling and promoting lip glosses with
gonorrhea.
disease names like gonorrhea, booty hole brown. If women, black women, collectively had an uproar about that and was like, no, this is garbage, this is mess. We not and didn't buy it, didn't promote it. We wouldn't be sitting here talking about Sexy Red. She'd have been banned. She'd have been lost in the culture. She wouldn't have
She
got the stardom that she
Her
has.
time's gonna expire. Like, the time's gonna expire. Like, a lot of the music that's out now, there's a transition. And hear me closely. There's a transition that's been happening years ago, but the time is gonna expire, because whatever you don't do for the Lord, it won't last at all. It's gonna expire. And I might just write a song about that, the lip glosses. So
Yeah, and it's since we on the topic, the sin against the flesh, idolatry, that is the only sin that God tells us to flee from. He
hmm
said, flee from it. Because when we commit in idolatry, we commit in a sin against our own selves, against our flesh, you know. But I ain't trying to get out of spirit. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all we do. Is there anything else you wanted to say? Okay.
Oh, let's see. We got one person trying to. No, they're not trying to come on. Okay, then we'll shoot. If anybody has any closing remarks, I would definitely want y'all to go ahead and shout out y'all pages and any upcoming events or anything y'all got going on. Go ahead and shout it out.
You want to go first?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so you can find me on all social media pages. Mariah underscore Lovemore is MARIAH underscore Lovemore. I have a song called Bibles for Christmas. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my channel, because that matters. When you subscribe, it helps with the algorithm. That way that the music can be reached to the right people.
Yeah.
This is a really tough season. People commit suicide and just going through so much, missing their loved ones. Bibles for Christmas is basically about grief meeting grace and missing your loved ones on the holidays, and really throughout the year, or even in that moment where you're just sitting in the car and you just think about them, and you just feel in a certain type of way. I am a Christian rapper, singer, and I will be coming out with more music. I'm going into country too, and um, I'm an impactor. So anything that I put out is going to be impactful. It's going to help people grow. So I'm all about growth in the kingdom of God.
Dig that.
You make some real good music too. I did enjoy that last song you did
Oh
after
yeah,
you.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, you tapped in, man. I'm gonna have to see, man. What's the name of that song?
Yeah, it's on the channel too. It's on the channel. You want to check it out?
Yep, Who Day
But
1981 Part 2.
yeah, I'll subscribe, so I'm gonna go check it out now for
And
sure.
my music on Apple Music and Spotify as well too.
Oh yeah, you on all platforms. I know that's right.
Yep, and if you're on TikTok, you can do a dance to the song. On Facebook, you can use the sounds. Yep, on all the platforms. YouTube. Yep.
That's heat. All right, man. You know, my name is on the screen. You pronounce my name Shagag, the God. That's on all platforms. I'm not saying I'm the Almighty or none of that. I'm just the Son of God. I'm not the God at all. I'm just a, a believer and follower of Him, and I believe that He want us to be little G's and be as great, you know, as He was, because He said, "Greater works ye shall do than me." So, but yeah, check me out. I do motivational content. So I'm on all platforms. Shagag the God. Check me out. You see something you like, share it. That's what I
Okay.
do.
Okay, and I got one more shout out.
Okay.
If you are looking to be a homeowner, you want to build a home, Sherman is a home builder. He builds luxury custom homes. Will make you feel like $1 billion.
Yeah.
um, you want to do like a email or something like that where you can be reached?
Oh no, they can reach me.
Okay, you could just reach me and I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so I want to let everybody know that we doing this every Sunday at 8 o'clock. I want to give a special thank you to the guests we had on tonight. It was wonderful. I appreciate y'all insight, and I'm sure the audience will too. And happy holidays, y'all.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Thank you. You too.
and have a good
You as
night.
well. You too.
Have a
You
good
Thank you.
too.
night, man.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right. Have a good night.